Ladies and gentlemen, it is wonderful that you came out on a wonderfully warm evening like today. It's much appreciated because I know New Yorkers, and I was one for a while. It's cold. You guys can go through 9/11, but you can't go through a cold snap. It's amazing. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever, that works. Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it. I'm going to ask an indulgence, which is these things, unless you're a doctor, silence them, turn them off, stomp them. Well, I'm not going to be responsible for that because it's going to be an intimate play. So if you're, we're going to hear it, and it's going to stop everything, and then I'll like point you out and say, get out. But in the meantime, definitely turn it down, silence it, put it in your back pocket. No, don't do that. That won't work. So I would appreciate that. That would be a wonderful thing. Now I've gone ahead and like blown it since I haven't actually turned mine down yet. Welcome to the Jamaica Center for Arts and Learning, Meet the Playwright. Meet the Playwright was started 2 years ago. Yeah, that'd be about right. Oh, let's say COVID time. And the artistic director of JCAL gave me a call and said, I've got dark theaters, what do I do? I said, go home. There's nothing we can do, it's COVID. I was in Colorado at the time. I said, it's the same thing in Colorado as it is in New York. We have no theaters because of COVID. He goes, yeah, but there should be a way to spread the arts. And I'm thinking, well, yes, I'm sure there is. What is it? And so he goes, what if we did it online? I went, he says, what if we did the plays online? I went, oh. So the first year, if you really care to look, on YouTube, was I had actors in their respective homes, and we had backgrounds we agreed. So if it was a kitchen background, everybody had the same kitchen background. And we did half-hour readings of plays. So it worked. So a year later, we went ahead and said, we have the theater, the one you're sitting in now, with COVID seating, so every other seat, et cetera, and it worked. The playwrights are all from the Queens, no, that's not right, from the New York metro area. So that could include the tri-state, but you didn't hear me say that. Definitely. Can you make it? Because I don't want you to fall. And it is original work. No one has ever been on Broadway, off Broadway with it, so you're looking at some very raw talent here, some wonderful talent. We have met a lot of new actors. We've met a lot of new playwrights. There's some in the audience tonight, and I really appreciate you coming out. But it has been fantastic to be able to say, this is Queens, this is Jamaica, and this is the talent we have right here. So give yourself a hand for being that talent. Now I'm going to do something. Everybody, you should have, got one of these flyers. It says upcoming events, and it talks about Meet the Playwright on December the 15th, and it should be the 22nd. So if you go online tomorrow, it will be corrected, trust me. But the play next month is going to end out the season for Meet the Playwright for this year, of course. So I hope to have everybody here. You're going to hear more about it, et cetera, later on at a different time. If you're online, if you know me, I will not shut up. So the 22nd, so it might say the 15th. In your mind, write 22 on it. And we'll go ahead and have more information that it supports the correct date. Same place, same time, 8 o'clock, you'll be here. We got a seat for you. Now tonight, wait a minute. It's a more important thing I didn't do. I never do this. My name is Brenda Jones. Always, and I'm the curator for the Meet the Playwright series. After talking with the artistic director, and we created Meet the Playwright, he goes, okay, here. And so here we are. It's, like I said, it's been a wonderful journey. I've met a lot of new people. I've met people I didn't know wrote plays, and they have, and we've produced them, and it has been great. Tonight's play is Widows and Warriors, and if you've looked at any of the flyers that we've had out online, there's an electronic billboard in front of JCAL that actually has it. I found it, by the way. There's actually one across the street as well. And I've been getting a really good response because it talks about Coretta Scott King and Betty Shabazz, the Mrs. of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. And there are two women that everybody knows about, but you don't know a damn thing about them. And so therefore, tonight's conversation between these two women, it's going to be a conversation that the playwright has said, what if they sat down and talked? What if they could talk about anything and everything? No no hold barred. We already get that backwards. But it stops, and there is the joy, there's the misery, there's the anger, there's the frustration, there's the love, there's the what these women really are, beyond being widows. They are warriors. So someone's going to say, but it's only 40 minutes. We could be here for 6 hours and never get everything that these women did and how it reflects them and history in the United States. So to give you a flavor, we're going to give you 40 minutes. So suffer. So with that, I'm not going to go any further because otherwise I'm using up like the playwright's time, and we don't want to do that. So, that's the part that we need to turn down. Welcome to the theater. Welcome to Wives and Warriors, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.
I met Martin on a blind date that was arranged by our mutual friend, Mary Powell. Martin had asked to be introduced to me after he had seen me and heard me sing at a New England Conservatory event. I was attending the School for Music, and Martin was in Divinity School to get his PhD. Hi, Mary. Yes, I did. Yes, I went out with Martin. Oh, he showed up in his big, red, shiny Chevy, and he took me to lunch. I know, I know. You're glad we went out, but, well, to tell you the truth, he was shorter than I thought. And I wasn't impressed with him at first. But girl, listen. As he continued to talk, I kind of began to like him. He's smart and he's pretty charming. Oh, he asked me to go with him to a party on Saturday night.
Grandma Matilda came to visit my mama. 16 years old she was. She ain't well cared for, she told my mama. And she promptly took me to Aunt Fannie Mae's house. Ollie Mae, the next day, moved to Detroit without me. Did I love my Aunt Fannie Mae? She called me her sweet brown sugar. At 6 years old, that's all I needed. I had some of the best days with her, walking together to get groceries, watching her hum and sing as she cooked. Her smile as I played and climbed up that magnolia tree that I thought was so beautiful. Yes, Aunt Fanny, I'll be waiting outside by the magnolia tree. We laughed and talked, and on the way to market, I listened to Aunt Fannie Mae tell me stories about when she was a little girl as we passed the magnolia. Our way home from the market, carrying our groceries and talking about what we would bake when we got home. I looked down the road at my pretty magnolia tree, but I wasn't sure of what I was looking at. Aunt Fannie Mae tried to cover my eyes, but it was too late. I pointed and shook my head. There, a man and woman hanging from my tree. Why? Why they do? Why someone kill them two poor colored folk? They's hanging from my beautiful magnolia tree. Limp, necks twisted, last breath gone. I think our mothers, grandmothers, aunts, and relatives always attempt to shield us from that ugly eyes of racism. But it gets to us no matter what. We're shocked, upset, confused, scared, and angry, all in the same breath in the pit of your stomach.
I was born and bred on a farm in Heiberger, Alabama, with my mother, father, brother, and sister. I loved that farm. We all worked hard during the Depression. We didn't want to lose it. We had owned it since the end of slavery. We grew our food that we ate. Yes, I picked cotton. I wanted to help make ends meet. Daddy was proud to keep it going. Everybody called me a tomboy because I could climb trees better than anyone else and was the best wrestler. That's right. I can beat you up or wrestle you down till you call uncle. My brother and sister used to say, Coretta, if you don't stop being mean, you're going to meet with the devil. You need to start being nice. Well, don't mess with me, too. And I can be nice, too. Okay, let's play hide and seek. Do you want to wrestle now or you want to play on the swing? Come on. Let's fight. And I can beat all of you. Yeah, I can beat you. And here I got me this stick. And don't make me, because I could hit you with it. You know I will. Stop bothering me. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh. The stick grazes my cousin's head, leaving a small bloody cut. Well, I got a strict talking to from my aunt and a stricter talk from my parents about what I had done. Made me think differently. I began to calm down as I got older. Fire! Get out of the house! Get out of the house! Everybody get out! Oh, the house is on fire! The house that my father built on our farm was set on fire one Thanksgiving. By who? Why? Didn't nobody know nothing. But we knew. We all knew. My family's lumber mill was burned to the ground right after my daddy refused to sell it to a white man. But somehow, out of no way, we always found a way.
After my Aunt Fannie Mae passed away, I moved to Detroit with my mother, Ollie Mae, who had married Arthur Burke. He had 2 sons. All in all, 8 people in a small house. It was me, my sister, Juanita, Shirley, and Jimmy, and my brothers Sonny and Henry. Ollie Mae was strict. I was the oldest and had the most chores and work to do. That was a real hard time for me. Sometimes I can't sleep at night because I'm trying to hear my precious Aunt Fannie Mae, her voice, or hear Grandma Matilda singing her church songs. I keep listening and hoping if I wait long enough, God will talk to me and tell me that he loves me. I keep waiting. Yes, Ollie Mae. No, ma'am. No, you asked me to do the dishes. No, I'm not sassing you. No. I just asked Juanita to help me with the dishes because you gave me permission to go to Suzette's house and I needed her help to be on time. Ah! Ah! Mrs. Malloy, please can I come in, please? I got nowhere to go. I know it's raining. I know. But please, I can't take another beating. I can't take it no more. Please. Mrs. Malloy was my grammar school teacher. She let me in her house and gave me some dry clothes to wear. I sat down next to her and I cried 1,000 tears. I cried until I couldn't cry anymore. My head hurt, my heart hurt. I just knew that I couldn't do it no more. After a whole month of staying at the Malloys, Ollie Mae reaches an understanding with Mrs. Malloy. And she said, "You don't have to come back. Mrs. Malloy can keep you." I was 11 years old, thrown away by my mother, my own mother, again.
I'll be right there, Mother. I am really excited about my recital today. I practiced every day. I must get it right. And I love it. The piano is best next to the violin. Oh, yes, Mama. Yes. I know. I'll get a good education. I understand. Love you, Daddy. Love you, Mama. Antioch College. Big, vast. But for me, limited. Only allowed 3 of us Negroes to attend after the first colored student, a woman named Edith Scott, opened the door for us. Integration? What integration? Us three coloreds among hundreds of white people? Well, I guess this is the beginning, but I want more, much more, and I'm going to get it. I'm going to apply to get my teaching certificate. Yes, Mary. Yes, I'm going to the party with Martin. I don't know if we'll keep going out. I mean, I'll have to see. He's really popular, outgoing, and lots of girls like him. I may not even be his type. He told you what? He thinks I'm everything he wants in a wife? He told me the same thing, and I told him he hardly knows me. Then he told me that I had the 4 qualities that he's looking for. Character, intelligence, a beauty, and a personality. Yes. I guess we'll see how it goes on Saturday.
You know, once you realize that your mother can leave you, it changes you. I was fortunate to have landed up with my Aunt Fannie Mae. For a while, anyway. Oh, to this day, I can still remember the smell and taste of her peach cobbler. And you know, she talked to me about looking towards the good things in life. I had some of my best days with her. And although I had to move up north to Detroit after my Aunt Fannie Mae died, it was still a good thing in the long run. Because of the Malloys, I finally got someone to call mother. Mother. It felt so good in my mouth. Like I really belonged to someone who wanted me, Betty. Ollie Mae never let me call her mother. It was a good time for me at the Malloys. I joined the high school marching band. Yep, I was playing drums. Joined the Junior Housewives League. It wasn't really about being a housewife, though. Back in 1935, colored women got together and boycotted the Detroit meat and packing businesses. They had to understand that if our Negro money was good enough for them to take, then our Negro people had to be good enough to hire, too. And it worked.
Oh, the letter from the Yellow Springs School Board about the teaching certificate. I hope. Dear Miss Scott, your request for admission to obtaining a teaching certification has been thoroughly reviewed. We will not approve your application now or any time in the near future. As you surely realize, the governing board of Antioch College maintains a whites-only status for our teaching staff. Following with the statutes of our founding members. There are no Negro teachers. There won't be any Negro teachers. They don't want any. Why? I'm as good as any white teacher any day of the week. This is nothing but fancy, homegrown, fancy worded racism. Colored people need to get out in the community, walking with NAACP posters. This kind of activity on campus is just what we need. Race relations and a civil liberty committee too. Good morning. Mr. Bayard Rustin? Yes, this is Coretta Scott, and I truly appreciate you taking my call. Yeah, yes. I called earlier this week. I truly feel that we can use the help of you and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference here on campus.
Even though I was living with the Malloys, I thought I'd sew a special birthday gift for Ollie Mae to show her how much I appreciated her giving me a sewing machine. I made her a pretty blouse and skirt set and tried to give it to her after church. Wasting my money? No, Ollie Mae. I made it special for you with the sewing machine you gave me. Please, take it. Can you just please open it? I know you'll like the set. She didn't even take it. She told me that she wouldn't accept it, and walked away just like I wasn't even talking to her. Right then and there, I knew that Pastor Dames could keep all those scriptures about sowing and reaping, because all the seeds I tried hard to grow with Ollie Mae were the same seeds that were wasted on stone, never taken root. The seeds that I thought we were planting with the Junior Housewives League, protesting Negroes and being hired, nothing changed.
I wonder if Martin knows that I know about that white girl he's been dating for 3 years. Well, why is he talking to me if that's what he wants? The college grapevine has him and whatever her name is as truly in love and actually considering engagement. There is no way in God's green earth that his father will allow that to happen. I guess it would be hypocritical of me to accuse Martin of the very same thing that I myself am guilty of. Walter Rybeck. He was a 4th-year student from West Virginia, and my accompanist and my piano accompanist when I sang at recitals. And he was Jewish. Walter and I, We talked about marriage and our future together and our life as an interracial couple. How about our children? Half Jewish, half Christian, half Negro, half white. Where could we live safely? Where could we work without being attacked for our faith or color? He and I were to meet his parents in Wheeling, West Virginia. And Walter made reservations for dinner there. No problem. Except when I asked the question that all good colored folks know to ask. Does the restaurant service Negroes? Well, what about me? Where am I to eat? It had never occurred to him to ask. The constant weight of being an interracial couple was heavy. It surrounded every decision and choice we tried to make. But collectively and individually, it was just too much. I loved Walter. And he loved me. We broke up.
It was time to leave the Malloys. I graduated from high school in Detroit and was looking forward to Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute in Alabama, which both my mother and father attended, Helen and Lorenzo Malloy. It was trial by fire once again. I was back down south with the same time-honored laws and traditions. Jim Crow was alive and thriving, but not for me. In 1953, after a year at Tuskegee, I applied and was accepted at the Brooklyn State Hospital School of Nursing in New York. Goodbye, Alabama. But there is a true credence to the saying, for everything, there is a season. During my second year at the School of Nursing, a fellow nursing student invited me to her Nation of Islam mosque to hear her young, impressive minister. She said that this minister, Malcolm X, was a very dynamic, and quite a few of the women at the mosque were attracted to him. I didn't leave my Baptist church right away, but I continued to attend the NOI meetings. I liked a lot of what they were saying about our people. In 1956, I converted to Islam and became Betty X. At first, Malcolm and I didn't go out on dates together. We often met in group meetings. Eventually, we started to date one another exclusively.
Martin's father, Daddy King, was a strong man and accustomed to telling everyone in his family what to do. I just won't do it. My vows will not say obey. Listen, Martin, this is just another hurdle, okay? First off, Daddy King has mentioned several times about the beautiful women in Atlanta and what they have to offer you. Now, I got past all that, but I want to ensure that my vows are what I want and what I want to uphold and believe in. You chose me, and I chose you. I appreciate you, Martin. I do. And you know that I've always stood up for myself, and I can't be any other way. You were always hesitant to defend me when your father was railing on about the number of beautiful women that Atlanta society has to offer you. So I had to let Daddy King know that I would not be compared to the numerous Negro beauty queens awaiting a respectable, God-fearing husband. Martin and I got married in 1953. Daddy King finally admitted to Martin that he had won himself a warrior. Now, I don't know about all that, but I'm glad that Marty's father understood that I wasn't just the little woman in his life. I believe that in the social change that his son also believed in. I was Martin's wife, yes. But the Bible said God made Adam a helpmeet. And yes, I was that for my husband.
We married in 1958. I remember our little talks when we first married. Malcolm would often tell me what he expected of me as a wife. I was quiet and listened to his wishes. But when I said just what I expected of him as my husband, he was truly surprised. Yeah, he always said that it had hit him like a ton of bricks. But we always worked together and agreed together on our family. Even when times got tough with the nation, we had a mutual respect for each other. And we loved one another. Take my children! Get my girls out of here! Put them in TV! Malcolm! Malcolm! Malcolm.
Mrs. Shabazz, Sister Betty, did you ever think that there was someone else with Malcolm? A slight flirtation or a one-night stand or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
No. Malcolm said when he chose to get married, he would solely focus on his marriage, his purpose, and his family. Malcolm was honest, sometimes brutally so. But no, infidelity was never a problem. That didn't even cross my mind.
Oh, that's commendable. That's what marriage is supposed to be. I'm glad for you. Martin, what are these pictures? Who is this? This woman in the pool with you? No. I don't know who delivered them to our house. And what does it matter anyway? Was this when you were at that Texas rally? You think so little of me, of our family, of the movement, that you throw it all away on this piece of trash? No, it's not only the pictures of you and this bleached blonde at a secluded restaurant feeding one another. Was this the same restaurant that you took me to in Houston? That you said that the owner didn't care about color as long as you had green cash? How about this one? A brunette holding hands while you kiss her neck on the beach. Marty, how could you? And who else has these photos? Reverend King. Have they been sent to the newspapers? The Southern Conference? The NAACP and SNCC? Who knows? Oh, no! You do not use the Lord's name and talk to me about forgiveness. You do not have that right. I'd heard the whispers before, but I simply knew my husband would never be so stupid, so foolish, to risk everything that we had worked so very hard for. I guess that the only fool here was me.
I never knew, Coretta. I mean, there were rumors flying around, but there's always rumors flying around in the public eye with public people. Sometimes the rumors are from the white press, calling you everything but the child of God. Sometimes the rumors are started by your very own people, trying to bring you down. Always those well-meaning, spiteful, hateful friends. And just like you, I know sometimes it was the government. Directives from that J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI. Hoover called Malcolm and the Nation of Islam un-American. He called Malcolm subversive so frequently that I even thought it was my husband's last name.
Let me tell you something. They were alike, our husbands.
You think so? I'm not so sure about that. Their approach, their beliefs, their very lives were different. I mean, your husband was famous. My husband was infamous.
You can't see it. They wanted the same thing, Betty.
Oh, Coretta. Well, one thing's for sure. They were hated and killed because of those same things. Malcolm, take my children, please. Take them to safety. I can't believe it. Malcolm! Malcolm!
know, Martin said that he had a deep respect for Malcolm, even though they had their differences.
I'm sure the world would be amazed that Malcolm and Martin had actually begun to talk. Conversations about what they believed and how we could help one another. Like Malcolm said, we have to put our own house in order first. We both know that they evolved at that point, and the world loved Martin, but did not feel the same way about my husband. He was maligned and hated by many, but a prince to those who knew his mission.
You know, they both had the same mission.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Betty. Who would believe that? The world saw them so different, just as their murders showed that they were equally hated. Some hate, same hate, deep and ugly. You know, Coretta, I saw you walking with the children after Martin's death, and I felt your pain, that unbelievable pain. And yet, there you were, marching in the same city your husband was killed.
I was numb with grief. But I couldn't give up the cause. I had to fight the fight, Betty. I knew Martin would have never stopped if he hadn't been... Oh. Oh my God. Sometimes it feels so unreal. Just so unreal sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean.
Yes, I do. That mountaintop.
You were telling me how you worried about everything and how the nation of Islam had turned its back on Malcolm.
I know what you mean. You don't know how much I worried about everything. The Nation of Islam had turned their back on Malcolm, our children, our home. I was pregnant with twins in my belly. Malcolm knew he was going to be killed. He told me. Don't be bitter. Remember Lot's wife. When they kill me, and they surely will, you have to use all of your energy to do what it is you have to do. Don't look back and go forward and continue. Every day, I had to think about that. He was going to be taken from me, leave me, and I had to go on. Nobody knows when the death bell will ring, but surely it was coming. It was hunting for my husband. But I had to get up every day, prepare my girls for school, wait for Malcolm to come home after being away and giving a speech. I sat in silence on many a night, waiting to hear the front door click. How unfair, I thought so many times. But I knew all along that my life was what it was. I knew my spirit had to stay strong. I had been through so much. Sometimes, though, I would break from the constant pressures. I thought I would break from the constant pressure. Actually, I did leave Malcolm. 3 times, as a matter of fact.
What?
Yes. But not for no more than 48 hours. He always knew how to find me. And we'd work through whatever the problem was. We were dedicated to each other, to our family, and our mission.
Martin had so many death threats all hours of the day and night, but when he gave that speech, the day that he was assassinated, I believe he knew his time was coming. He said that he had been to the mountaintop. He knew that he was in the shadow of death's call. They both knew.
Coretta, look at us. You and me. We have much in common. Malcolm used to tell me how strong I was. It was in my bones. I had a difficult life, and that can make you strong.
Well, I'm here to testify that being married to a man who has put his life on the line every day, yes, Lord, that can make you strong too.
You know, you were really involved with the movement and on the front line. A lot of times. I mean, me, I wasn't in the same situation. And honestly, I don't think if I had the wherewithal to do it. I mean, the nation trains their women to be educated. Muslim women do have businesses and do independent things. But then, it was still within the same service your brothers as it was everywhere else.
Betty, come on, where did that come from? Look at all you did, what you accomplished, Dr. Shabazz.
Yeah, that's true. But that was forced on me. After Malcolm died, I had no choice. I had to face rough times again. I had enough of that as a child.
But somehow you found the strength to endure and not get caught up in the past. You didn't turn around. You listened and you remembered Lot's wife. But, you know, Betty, sometimes I wonder how much people really know about me. I mean, me, Coretta, not just the wife of slain civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King, who I was and how I evolved into who I am.
Mm-hmm. You know, I know what you mean. The world loved Martin Luther King and everyone around him, especially you. I mean, you were the minister's wife, the first lady of the church, regaled and special in your roles. You were the wife of the great man, and then the grieving widow of the great leader.
Well, I was Martin's wife, yes. But I was a person before I met him, before I married him. There's so much people don't see when your husband is famous, and so much more people don't even think about when you become his widow.
Oh, what they make up or perceive is the truth about him or about you. Yes, Coretta. I get it. As a woman, we bear the brunt of those comments without speaking out. It doesn't matter what your religion or age or language is. Women have been treated unfairly. And as a widow, the challenges become even stronger, since you are now on a new journey, totally and completely alone.
I couldn't even begin to remember the number of people who came to my home to offer their sympathies and comfort. But I still felt so very much alone.
After Malcolm's murder, everyone pretty much avoided me. I was hounded by the press. I was still receiving death threats and had to find some place to live with my girls. My few remaining friends did help me through. But do you think that I was allowed to feel the pain that you felt? I sat and watched my husband get murdered in front of our 3 daughters with 2 unborn children in my belly. I too was a tragic widow. But I wasn't allowed to grieve in the same way as you. I didn't have the freedom of grieving.
While we did share our losses, Betty, we both had to fight from becoming the forgotten widows of great men. We had to live for our families in the here and now. Our children required us to become warriors. I'm not talking about our losses. I'm talking about our new journeys. I have always been a fighter. Way before I even met Martin, I attended rallies and I was vocal about women not getting enough credit for our role in the movement.
You know, what a road we've traveled. Coretta, your husband's birthday is now a national holiday. Just mention Martin Luther King, and he's the icon that symbolizes the civil rights era in the United States. And you were there. By him. Every step of the way. And even after his death. Coretta, claim that respect. Claim that legacy. It's not easily achieved.
Our children, our progress, it didn't start with us.
And it doesn't end with us.
God bless you, sister.
Assalamu alaikum.
Now I get to sing. Actually, thank you very much, and I would like a person that's not up here to come up here, and her name is Donna Coles, and she is our playwright of the evening. Okay, you're gonna take the mic too. You gonna have the mic?
Well,
Get over there. Don't go to hide out in the corner. We're gonna find a chair for you.
I'm a little scared. say 3 is a charm. Have I been charmed or not? These 3 women have taken what I tried to put together and made it become real. And I will tell you from my deepest heart, I have such eyes of appreciation for all of you who have come here tonight to take history that I've researched that's real and also combine that with the figment of my imagination to bring to you something that my husband introduced me to. My husband, who taught me that history is our future and walked me to Malcolm X's home where it had been bombed and showed me the way that we should think about ourselves. And based on that, I looked at these 2 women who were very different, but whose husband had this very similar message and mission, and thought that we should celebrate them as well. And so, for 4 years, I wrote and rewrote, and my husband said to me one day, "Wife, what are you doing? Why don't you do something with that?" And I took a course, and I had a teacher, and he too prompted me to do that. And so it gave me the opportunity to put it together and try to get it done. And my teacher, who promised me he would help me, unfortunately passed a few months after my husband. So here I had this wonderful play, and now I'm a widow, and I'm trying to figure out, where does this go? Where is my journey? And I met a friend for lunch who became very aggressive with me.
I wonder who that was.
And said,
I wonder.
and said, "Give me the play, Donna." And I said, "No, no, no." And then she said it again, and I did. And so that is why I'm here tonight. So I owe this to Brenda.
I remember this differently, okay? Just saying.
I owe this to Brenda. And as we started looking at different actors, we found 2 splendid women who touched the souls of Brenda and I enough to say that we should share this with everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And so I hope my first chance and my first choice at writing a play was one that you all have enjoyed. I hope that this will go someplace else. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but guess what? I'm ready for the ride. And thank you.
Take one of them.
Can we get flowers?
This is the fun part, is if you remember the name of this whole program, it's called Meet the Playwright. You get to ask her and them some questions. So folks in the booth, could we give a little bit of, yes, the house light, so I don't have to do like this. Does anybody have a question? I don't care what it is. Okay, yes, I do, but let's try to keep it nice. Questions? Cause, I see a hand
Yeah,
right
one
there.
right here.
Okay, so I just had a quick question about Miss Coretta. There was a part in it where it seemed like she had a relationship with a white man while she was still in college. Was that accurate? Is that
Meet the Playwright.
That is accurate. Based on, excuse me?
We don't need mics.
Based on our research, yes, that was his true name. And yes, she did. You're welcome.
There's a lot of parts, and that's why she did the plays. There's a lot of things that are the background that if you want to believe the fantasy, you believe what's given to you. But when I found out about Walter Rydbeck, I thought, who? But at the same time, when I found out about the 3-year relationship that Martin had with that white girl, who seemingly doesn't have a name, and that's okay, I didn't know that either. There were things that you don't know, but if you scratch the surface, oh my God. Really? I didn't know.
So Brenda lives in Denver, and you know I live in New York. And when I started researching this one night, I said, oh, no, this can't be true. 2 o'clock in the morning, Brenda, did you know? And we research and research. You know, the more research you find, the more information you have. And then it's your determination as a playwright how you wish to present it. I mean, a lot of things get swept under the rug in true life, and in a play, it's up for grabs. Okay.
Someone just, I'm going to ask the question of the actresses.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to ask both of you individually, what was the challenge for you as Betty, and what was the challenge for you as Coretta? The biggest challenge for you to recreate women that we kind of thought we knew.
Speaking for Betty, I was able to meet Dr. Shabazz when she was alive, and so I saw how regal she was. And after understanding, you know, some of the experience she had as a child, it just gave me more respect for this woman and the amount of strength she needed. And some of those scenes were really tough. And, you know, I had a mom and dad that were very supportive. So I could only imagine what it was like to be thrown away twice before you're even 12 years old, before you even know who you are. I think that that was the biggest challenge.
Coretta?
For me, Coretta is, like Betty, a very regal, intelligent, well-spoken woman who was very respected and respectful. That was hard for me because I'm wild as hell, okay? I will tell you right now. You know what I'm saying? To be able to sit here and sit still with this skirt with my knees together and, you know, with my hands, okay, that's just the physicality, okay? But I heard about the play, I mean, not the play, the movie, Betty and Coretta, you know, that they had done on TV. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. And my director was like, don't watch that. Don't watch that. So I instead went to documentaries. YouTube is the bomb, okay? Yes. YouTube. And I just watched her speaking. She was so eloquent and just so elegant and so calm. That's the thing that was hard for me because I'm frazzy. But just to have gone through the experience of losing your husband who was only trying to do the right thing. That's all he was trying to do. He wasn't trying to hurt nobody. He wasn't trying to take anything from anybody. He just wanted all of us to get along, basically. That was my husband. That was my life. That was everything. And that was hard because I, Valerie, have never really felt that kind of loss. So I just used my empathic powers and just continued to imagine what that would be like. And it took me out a couple of times. You know, I would be sobbing. You know, it was when you run it, you think about it. I mean, it's going to take me about, I'm going to say, maybe 2 or 3 weeks to release this because my husband was killed for doing the right thing. Martin Luther King, I mean, not my husband. I don't got no husband. Y'all can't tell as wild as I am, I ain't got no husband. Don't nobody want none of this. They can't handle this.
Valerie's character, I love her.
So let me say, when
And the end. Okay.
when I talked to Valerie and Amelia, they were annoyed with me. They got me, you know, you're making us cry.
Yeah.
You know? Donna, you're making us cry. But I will tell you, I also had the opportunity to meet Betty Shabazz in about 1989 at a luncheon for a journalist when I worked in television. And she came right down and sat right next to me. She sat on the left side and Hazel Duke sat on the right side. And she said, girl, where'd you get that dress? You know, I really felt like I knew her. I spent the entire lunch with her. Almost got in trouble with my boss because I was so busy talking with her. She was the most down-to-earth, wonderful person. And my daughter, ironically, was in a play in a couple of weeks, and she was playing Betty Shabazz. And she gave me a note.
Microphone.
Dear Kahina, she wrote a little note to say, you know, good luck playing me. So, you know, because I lived near her, even though she wasn't there any longer, she always kind of stayed in my mind. And then she had other tragedies. But this play is much longer. But based on the director, a lot of things had to be removed. But I will just say this, both of these women had a lot of fires in their life. You know, they both had a lot of tragedy. And it's ironic that when we see them with their husbands, they're not in the back, but they really are, because nobody knows their story.
Yeah.
So I want, as a woman myself, I wanted to represent these women in a way that I thought would be fitting and respectable. And as a widow, after I wrote this play, it was even harder for me to then go and look at it as a widow, but to understand their pain and what they went through. So I tried to infuse that as much as I could in this play, so people could see the human element of these two wonderful Black women who really represent all of us.
And I love that you said that, because for me, playing Betty, what was really interesting was I kept on asking myself, how did this woman do this? Like, when you stop looking at all the videos that are out there, because I did the same thing, YouTube University, but I was like, I'm listening to the words that she wrote and the story that she wrote, and I'm watching this woman so poised with all of these racist interviewers trying to box her in. And she was very poignant. She was very selective as to what she said. And it was like, wow, you know, you took this roller coaster of emotion. And that was like so well written. I can honestly say, as an actor, it was a challenge, because you went from screaming that your husband's dying to, and that's how it is. You know, it's like, sheesh.
I think that the biggest challenge as the director, thank you, Donna, I think, was to be able to find the humanity behind the facade. Because media, and I was in media for a long time, knows how to create the person they want you to see and what they want you to hear, et cetera, et cetera. And so to go back beyond, and I've said this before, is for me, Coretta, and because to cut down to the chase, Coretta was the African-American Jackie O.
Yep.
She never cried, you know, her eyes would be pink, but it was always very well structured, the way she stood, you know, everything was thought out, because that's what she wanted. And that's what media allowed you. When we found out that Jackie smoked, it was like, oh, she smokes cigarettes? But she made a point to keep her game together. So her facade, that's why, for me, her going off on Martin when she discovers the photos, we needed to see that, who is this? Because there has to be that moment, when you find out that your love, your husband, the person that you've been working beside, is doing one of them over there. And it is that point, because that in the 60s is not only are you doing somebody, you're doing one of those people. Which, if you're careful, that'll get you shot, killed, and stomped anywhere in the South. And you're doing that, and you're giving that away. You're giving your family, the King family, your immediate, all that's because you needed to do, hey, no, excuse me, let me kick your behind twice. Again, for Betty, it wasn't, you're taught, okay, I'm old school, you're taught that he was like a Black Muslim, and he was going to tear up the country. And then when you really start listening to him, that's not what he was saying at all. He was just saying, what you get to do, I get to do too. But media wanted you to hear, rawr! And so I needed to find that humanness and take away the facade. So the fact that Walter Rybeck existed for you, you hussy, who knew? Because that wasn't the regal facade that we had for Coretta.
We have a question.
Oh, please go.
So in real life,
Take away your mask so we could actually hear you.
I really didn't read too much about Miss Shabazz, but in real life, did she have the twins?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
She had 6 girls.
Her daughter, Dr. Ilyasha Shabazz, is a good friend of mine as well. And when I tell you, I'll share a moment. So I met with her, and we were talking about doing a Miss to Miss brunch for young girls, high school and college girls, for them to network with mature women and understand what it means to be a today's woman. We were in the Shabazz Center. Okay, my ignorance, I did not know that's exactly where her father was murdered. And in the middle of the meeting, this is before I even auditioned for this, in the middle of the meeting, she says, yeah, my father was killed right there. What? I was like, okay, maintain composure, this is business. But I was like, I couldn't even imagine, you know? And so at that moment, I saw her mother's strength in her, you know? That she's continuing the legacy, you know? And that to me is remarkable. But yeah.
Question?
Somewhere out there?
Yes, in the back.
Yes.
I just want to take the time to compliment your voices. Like, both of your voices are so distinguished, profound, and it really set the tone where we feel the yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is much appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We worked on it.
We worked a lot because I talk really
We worked
fast,
on it.
and Coretta doesn't talk as fast as I do, so I had to slow it down. So I was hurting by the time it was over. I was like, every single word has to be enunciated.
And
I don't talk like that.
I have to tell a secret, okay? She's the veteran, I'm the neophyte. So it's like watching her morph into Coretta, and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know what I mean? So it's that fellowship, and I just want to say in front of everybody, thank you so much.
Oh,
Because that's, you know, I really felt like we did bond.
We
You
did.
know?
We did.
And
we did.
it's the words and the people.
I had no idea this was like her fourth thing.
Yeah.
No idea, you know.
My second play. The second play.
You know, and it worked out beautifully. This is
Another hand I
beautiful.
thought I saw, but now I don't see it anymore.
Any more questions?
Yes,
Other
yes.
than,
Yes.
Oh, greetings. A question to Ms. Cole.
Yes.
If you care to say or dare to say, what, if we should see this in a full or length, what parts did you excerpt from this?
Oh, now you,
Question.
now you asking for some secrets. No. It's a lot of information about them. There are many things that happened in their life that would still be very impactful if you heard it. And there's a couple of things about them and their husbands as well. But the focus here was to be on these women. And I think even with, if you saw the whole play, yes, it would include their husbands and some of the things they went through with their husbands, but the main focus is on them.
what I will also add to
There's
that
a question over here.
is, before you go, is because there is so much information on their husbands, you can take it from the Nation of Islam point of view. You could take it from the king's family point of view and the churches there. You could take it from the government point of view. You could take it, I mean, there's 99 different versions of this story. So what do we leave behind? If you back up a dump truck, we might be able to fill it up and then move on to the next one because there was so much. Actually, the challenge, I think, between Donna and myself was knowing what to excise and make sure that what's being presented here gets to your mind, that you understand what was going on without going, and it's okay, enough already. So it had to stop being a historical presentation and become a personal presentation using history to do it.
And in addition to that, I think what was important is that you could look at them and see their growth, but throughout that, weave into the pain and the victories. These were widows who became warriors. And we had to show at different stages how that development occurred.
Okay, so there's the hand over there, I'm sorry.
Yes.
How did they become friends in real life? How did that happen? Did they really become friends in real life? And how did
There are several versions about them becoming friends, but the one that's most popular is that they attended the Democratic National Convention in the 60s and were sitting next to each other. Well, that's also seen in Betty and Coretta, but in true life, they did become friends. And to this day, their daughters have also formed a bond and are friends, yes. So they did become friends, to answer your question.
And to be clear, before I answer that, but I see you this time, is what you'll see on the screen, TV programs, is like they became best friends. They went shoe shopping together, and no, they weren't. They weren't that type of friend. So let's sit down and have coffee, girlfriend. And when it's, I won't say the particular cable channel, but there is one, and it's like I looked at it and thought, even I knew that, and I wasn't with them. They were respectful friends.
Yeah.
They knew how to reach out to one another. If you need support with the XYZ, absolutely. But there was no way that Betty was going to convert or Coretta was going to convert. It wasn't that type of, but it's like we understand one another, we've been through it, we know we support one another. But girlfriend, what happened? Was not that going, no. Now I get to answer your question.
Thank you for the play you chose to write. And I also really appreciate you taking us into their childhood.
Yes.
Particularly Betty Shabazz, because she is, when I see her, she is so regal, you know? So beautiful and so composed, right? And I was like, wow, to know that she was traumatized like that as a child, that's really heartbreaking. Also, I wanted to know, were you inspired by the two character play, The Meeting? Because it reminds me of the meeting between Malcolm and what would have happened between Malcolm and Martin.
This play was written at least 4.5 years ago. So, no, that it was something that was a figment of my imagination. But as I said, I always admired Betty Shabazz. And I always had a questionable thought about Coretta Scott King. Because, black women just usually aren't that reserved. So,
As evidenced by somebody over here, but okay.
I mean, even when we're reserved, we can see there's a little come down, just the way we might sit or might hold our head. But she's always just so elegantly postured.
The facade.
And so I was like, I need to crack this. I need to find out a little more. And I also was looking for the parallel between the two women. And they were both Southern raised. But the saving grace for Betty, I'm getting ready to actually touch you like Betty.
Yes.
The saving
Go
grace
ahead.
for Betty were the Malloys. This one was her teacher, but she was also a political activist in the community, and she had observed Ollie Mae treating Betty in a way that wasn't as kind as she thought to them. So she kind of pulled her out to get her into more activities. So she was really Betty's saving grace.
Did I? No? Yes? No? No? Yeah, wait, no, I can't tell. You guys don't know how far away you guys look. Well, if that's the case, I'm not going to answer any more questions. So there.
Yes.
Okay, there's one more.
So, my question is,
Mask.
I came here in the past, and this is about my fourth time coming to a play, maybe the third or the fourth. And I know that the plays that they do, like this is November 17th, it's not gonna come back again to the stage again, because I thought I heard like one time and then that's it.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't you allow, maybe it's for you, because this was so nice and it's about these women where, Black history, we celebrated, January, February.
Okay,
So,
well, indirectly to your point, because right now we're really trying to make sure we get as many playwrights from the New York area and not professional. So Eugene O'Neill might be dead, but we don't want him here. Okay, it's important that we want new playwrights, let's put it that way. And being able to reach out and get new playwrights. So if we keep repeating, then we don't have time. But to that point, I don't know if you saw the play from March of this year, which was Queen Bess, the Bessie Coleman story.
Tommy J. Moore.
Yeah, see, she knows them.
I know.
That play, because we pick one play from every season, that will be repeated. So Queen Bess, for those who haven't seen it, definitely, will be repeated February the 23rd of next year for Black History Month. And once again, for the date, I'm not sure of right now, for Women's International Month, which is March of 2023. So we're trying to find a way to make it all work and not take the stage from everybody else here at JCAL. I hope they're not listening. But I understand what you're saying, and right now it's really become important that we find a way to do just more than one night. So we might have plans that you don't know about, and I can't tell you because they're listening. So, but I would like to take on what you're saying and really expand it, because we've had some unbelievable talent, we've had some unbelievable plays, and I would like it to be more than just tonight.
Thank you for that.
Okay, there's one in the back.
Your
Moi?
social media.
I'm
Yeah.
not on social media, believe it or not. I am not. But where is it? That's a very good question.
You know something?
I
You
can't
are
tell
so
you where
far
it's
ahead of
going.
us. I don't want to talk to you.
I want to say this. My goal was to get my play in front of people, and I have. If someone out there would like to say to me, we have a theater, and we'd like you all to come to the theater and perform that play, I think everybody on this stage is ready.
Yeah, you know something? The easiest way for right now would be just to go ahead and reach out to JCAL.org and put Meet the Playwright as the subject matter, and it is going to come right back to me no matter what I do. So, but absolutely, and again, I'm Brenda Jones. I'm the curator from when it started last year before last, whenever. And so this has been my baby, so it's very hard to let go of her. Yes, it's a girl. But right now, definitely reach out to jcal.org/meet the playwright, and it'll be there, and they'll find me no matter what. Okay, I'm going to stop taking questions. I don't think there are any more because this lady's been standing here with flowers and she's sweating on them.
Oh my God.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And just as a reference,
Thank you.
this is Kahina Cole, which is her daughter. So thank you very much. Like I said, for those of you who came in late, we know who you are. But for those of you who came in late, you may have picked up a flyer when you walked in, which talks about the upcoming events at JCAL. So the next Meet the Playwright, it says on the flyer, December 15th. That's a lie. It's December the 22nd. And the name of the play is, I just forgot. It's Queen Girl in the World. It's written by a woman who grew up here in East Elmhurst and then over here in Jamaica itself. So she knows what she's talking about, and I'm gonna put her on blast. I want the actress who is going to be the Queen's Girl in the World to stand up.
Where is she? Is that Granddaddy?
Yes, it is.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Hey, girl, hey!
So I appreciate you coming. She and I have been doing Zoom rehearsals, which is how we do a lot of what we do. But I appreciate you coming. I really hope to see all of you next month. I had to stop and remember where I was. And we have all enjoyed having you here. I've enjoyed working with Donna. I've known Donna for about 5 minutes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you.
So enjoy, good night, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.